My deal is dead. For the past few months, I've been trying to get my first $1 million multifamily property, and it has been a wild ride. Going bigger has come with more effort, more stress, and of course, more money. And a lot of that money was on the line as the clock ticked down, and I had to make a decision to move forward with this 33-unit, $2.1 million deal or back out. If you've ever wanted to know what goes on behind the scenes of a deal like this, today I'm giving you the details you didn't get in the first 3 episodes. But before I can tell you what killed the deal, we've got to go back, because the most important thing about how this deal ended is how it all started in the first place. Super nice to meet you in person.
Yeah,
how are you?
Good, good. So we can start over here.
My first videos on this channel were about the end of my basketball career due to a torn ACL and the global panini. My whole life I'd been an athlete, and with that taken away from me, I felt kind of lost. I even thought about switching sports and trying to go pro in golf until the stay-at-home orders took effect, and I found myself spending more and more time at home, feeling like even though the world was at a standstill, it was still passing me by. Has anyone else gotten the feeling like you were on the right path, and then all of a sudden it was made really clear that you weren't? That's what this Ben Franklin quote did for me. Like most people out there, I've got a bunch of big dreams, and to be honest, I'm starting to get a little anxious that time is passing me by and I need to start achieving things. And so I'm basically documenting the process of getting my life together, trying out things that I think will help me design the life of my dreams, and sharing the process with you guys. Maybe that will help keep me accountable. Maybe I'll learn something worth sharing. Maybe you guys will watch. Either way, I'm gonna give it a shot. One of those interests that took off was real estate, and I decided to make 100 wholesale offers and 100 YouTube videos before I let myself quit either one. Here's the chart I actually used to track getting to that first deal and getting to the monetization mark on YouTube. It's really wild how this happened, but I got monetized on YouTube and got my first wholesale deal within like 10 days of each other. And all in all, it took me only 39 videos to get monetized and 72 offers to get to my first wholesale deal. And this was probably the best thing I could have done for myself. Give myself specific actions to take before I was allowed to quit. But realizing that if I truly did put in that effort and make 100 offers and 100 videos and I wasn't enjoying it or it wasn't working out, then I was free to walk away. But I didn't. That 100 offer decision turned into the 5,000 pieces of mail decision. And that decision led me to the 33-unit apartment complex. Did I know exactly what I was doing from the jump? Absolutely not. But getting going and deciding I was gonna take action before giving up is what got me here. The apartment deal is dead. And yes, I'm very sad and very disappointed. I had already started dreaming of what I wanted to do with the property and what it would be like, and sharing the process with you guys. But it just didn't work out. You guys know about some of the physical issues we found at the property, like the AC unit windows that wouldn't open and the 20-year-old boiler system that supplies heat to the entire apartment complex. But there's also some real estate related things that happened behind the scenes that just didn't allow this deal to work out. We're gonna get to all of that. But first, I have been waiting to open my 100K subscriber plaque so that I could do it on camera for you guys. And I think I would be much happier telling you about how the deal failed if I could at least look at my plaque while we do it. Let's crack this bad boy open. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, it says it's 3 pounds. Also, if you're a real one, you might have noticed this box was in the background of the last couple videos, as I wanted to celebrate the closing of the apartment complex and the opening of this plaque, but life. Anyway, let's open this thing up. As we do this, I'm gonna answer some of the questions you guys left for me, both related to the apartment complex and also just in celebration of this 100,000 milestone. I cannot believe there's 100,000 people subscribed to this channel. Wow. Started from the bottom, now we're here. And yeah, thank you guys. Wow, my heart's actually starting to beat fast. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, there's something black. It's not even, There's like foam. It's not even the plaque. Dun, dun, dun. There's a piece of paper. Okay. Do you remember your first subscriber? I think I was actually my own first subscriber, which, hey, believe in yourself. You know what's weird? I never knew the name of the CEO of YouTube until now. Shout out to you, Susan. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. That's cool. This award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. Thanks, Rick. Congratulations on your subscriber milestone. Wow. I'm actually like, it's been sitting back there, but like, man, this is not how I wanted to celebrate this, but like, this is really awesome. Anyway, you guys asked me questions. One of the first ones was, how do I estimate rehab costs? And I wanted to share this one with you guys. So my brother and I are working on a free rehab calculator made for beginners. So if you want to test it out, I'll email it to you completely for free. It is having basic estimates, basic assumptions of common renovations with the prices already baked in. And so you don't need to have any prior construction knowledge or experience or anything like that. So if you want to try it out, that is how I estimate rehab costs, and I want to make that calculator available to you guys. So just hit the link in my description. It'll take you to a list where you can sign up, put your email address in so that I can email you the calculator. Next question, am I married? No, I'm not married. This is super cool. Do I have any advice to a newbie wanting to document the journey? Just start. I literally started, I didn't have a tripod. I literally started by leaning my phone up against a stack of books. I had no mic, no nothing. I had a little desk lamp that was my light. So like, just start, be real. You don't have to be an expert to share your journey. You just don't. And sometimes people relate to that more because once you're at the top, you don't remember what the bottom was like. Wow, I low-key don't even want to touch this. It's actually kind of hefty. Wow, it's a mirror. Did you guys know it was a mirror? I didn't know it was a mirror. Wow. Next question. Am I in a relationship? There's your answer. Should you start wholesaling before you do fix and flips? I don't think you have to. I personally did wholesale before I started doing renovations. I don't flip my properties, I keep them as rentals, but I do renovate them. And I think I learned a lot and made a lot of good connections by deciding to wholesale first. It was lower risk. I could get up some capital to put down for like down payments on some hard money loans, some private loans, whatever it might be. So I really like that process, but not everybody has to do it that way. If you guys want to check out, I have a video on different side hustles you can do for local real estate investors that will, one, make you some money, but then also get your foot in the door and get you a connection with the real estate investor. If I wasn't going to wholesale first, I'm going to go right into flipping or BRRRRing, I would probably try to also side hustle for a real estate investor so that they can teach me the ropes as I work for them. Let's see. Can you do wholesale real estate under the age of 18? I know that you can't legally sign contracts under the age of 18, but if you have parents, maybe they could sign the contract for you. I would obviously not tell you to do anything illegal or anything that your parents don't approve of, but I know the number one thing you can start doing is start learning and start thinking differently based on the things that you're learning, and you will be miles ahead by the time you do turn 18 and can start signing legal documents. I think also, depending on, child labor laws and all that, you could probably work for an investor, do some of those side hustles before you turn 18 as another way to learn and get prepared. What do I do first? Like, what is the very first step after changing your mindset? It's a tough one because I think it depends on what your end goals are and what your available resources are. So Do you have any money to put towards mentorship or to put towards marketing to find deals? Do you have a lot of time on your hands where you can go side hustle and work for another investor? Do you have time on your hands where you can drive for dollars and cold call? Figure out what are the resources that you have available to yourself, and then how can you use them to take action? And then maybe try out what I did, of like giving yourself a number of actions you're gonna take before you let yourself quit, and then like actually keep track of it on like a piece of paper, on a whiteboard, whatever it is. I really like seeing it every single day, so I got my whiteboards back there. All right, let's talk about how my deal failed, but first let's find a spot for this bad boy. I'll be back here. How does that look to you guys? Shout out to YouTube. I think it's pretty cool that they sent creators awards. I think it's dope. What a journey. It's not done yet, y'all. I mean, my deal is done, but too soon. Okay, let's talk about what killed my deal. And yes, I did end up losing some money. First, on a good note, I was attempting to bring in a partner on this deal, and yes, I was able to find one. In fact, I was able to connect with multiple people who want to partner with me on deals. And so not only did I find a partner that was gonna work with me on this particular deal, but I've also got partners lined up for the future. So, silver lining. Once I chose a partner, we started to come through not just the financials of the deal, but also the physical characteristics of the deal and the inspection report that we got from the inspection day you guys saw. As you know, we were mainly concerned with the windows that couldn't open due to the AC units and the boiler system that's over 20 years old and supplies heat to every single unit in the apartment complex. Those things alone didn't kill the deal because they can be fixed or replaced or changed, but they were gonna cost a lot of money. And when you're looking at a multifamily property, you're not using comps to determine value like you do when it's 4 units or less. When it's 5 units and up, the value of the property is determined by something called the NOI, or the net operating income. I've got 2 books that you should read if you're interested in this, but a very simple explanation is that the NOI is the income minus the expenses of the property, except you ignore the owner's mortgage payments. So let's just say that the current NOI of a property is $2 million. The more you can increase the income and decrease the expenses on the property, the higher the value of the property will go. Let's say it goes to 3 million, and now you've got a spread between what it currently is and what you believe you can get it to. But what's difficult to decide is for what price within that spread, within that gray area, do you want to buy the property at? If you need to make a lot of repairs and updates to the property, that's gonna lower the price that you're gonna wanna pay. But at the same time, when there's such a big spread, there's a lot more competition, which is gonna drive up the price you're gonna pay, because if you just stick to your guns and say, I'm not paying more than this, somebody else will, and you just won't get a deal. And most times, you don't have to buy just at what the current property value is for it to still be a good deal. In this case, we've got $1 million spread. It'd probably still be a good deal even if there was an $800,000 spread. But if you consider the spread and the future upside of the property too much, then you might offer too much and squeeze yourself out of the good deal you had and buy yourself into a bad situation. So with all of that to consider, the renovations that we weren't really expecting were gonna cut into the spread a little bit. But even aside from that, the fact that title companies are so slammed right now meant that this process was gonna take a little bit longer than normal. And on top of that, the seller actually needed to take less time than normal because he wanted to use the funds from this property to go ahead and purchase an even bigger complex. It also didn't make sense for him to give us a price reduction because there were other offers submitted at the same $2.1 million purchase price, and it was pretty clear that if we were to ask for a price reduction, he would just be able to go back to one of those other offers and have them actually buy it at that $2.1 million price without asking for a reduction. It was looking more and more like we weren't going to be able to make the numbers work, and we weren't going to be able to make the timing work for the seller. But what's most crazy is that the thing that kept popping up in my head is what other people would think about me if I failed at this deal. Obviously, the YouTube comment section can be a very mean place, but I've also gotten hate basically from people in my own market, like real life hate, because people think I'm a fraud or think I don't have enough experience. And I find that when there's people who are experienced in something, sometimes they don't want new people to come in, right? Because maybe they feel threatened, maybe they feel there's not enough to grow around for everyone. But whatever their reason is, that can start to eat at you. Even if in the moment you're just like, psh, and you brush it off, it can start to eat at you and be that little voice in the back of your head that was telling me, don't cancel on this deal, Lili. People are gonna think you're not serious. People are gonna think you had some ulterior motive other than wanting the deal. And that really started to mess with my decision making on just based on, was this a good deal that I should move forward with, or was it something that I should step back from? One of the best things was that the seller and I had super open and honest communication, and he was super cool and really understanding. He knew that I had concerns about the physicality of the property, and he understood those things. And I knew and understood that he was on a very strict deadline, and so I wanted to make sure that I was giving him as much time as possible if I was not gonna do the deal, so that he could do something else. And it was possible he was just gonna end up keeping the deal and doing a cash out refinance so he could use some of the equity from it for his other purchase. But those things take time. So I was cognizant of the fact that my $21,000 earnest money was on the line. I had to either move forward or back out by a certain date before that became non-refundable. But I also wanted to be able to give him enough time to do what he needed to do. So the clock was ticking down for me in a lot of ways. We eventually ended up having one final discussion and decided to wait a few days to see when the title company could tell us if they could close for sure or not. And then me and my partner would go back to the drawing board and decide if the financials of the deal made enough sense and would give us good enough return to move forward. And so we waited for a couple of days, and we ended up hearing back from the title company that they weren't going to be able to close by the day that the seller needed. So that was it. We amicably agreed to cancel the contract, and because it was before the end of my due diligence period, I was able to get my earnest money back, but I did lose some money. I spent $4,000 on the property inspection, and I also had a bust fee of about $1,000 from the title company because it got so far into the process and people had worked on the file only for us to end up canceling, and so they weren't able to collect the closing costs at the actual closing. And so we had about a $1,000 fee. And to be honest, that $5,000 that I lost on this deal, I think was probably worth it. I got a ton of experience. I got to document the process here on YouTube, and there was no way that I was gonna buy my first apartment complex without investing that $4,000 into getting the property inspection. And the $1,000, I guess that's just part of doing business. So I lost $5K, but the main thing that I'm disappointed about is just getting so close to my first deal and feeling like it was the perfect size and the perfect location and just not being able to finish it. You guys know I'm not giving up though. I'm sending out another round of direct mail to continue with this 5,000 piece campaign that I have planned, and through that process, I'm keeping everything organized in my new CRM, Simply. If you want to see how I record the conversations that we're having with sellers, how I give myself reminders on when to follow up with people, then you're definitely gonna want to check out this video here where I interview the owner of Simply and show you guys the behind the scenes of how I'm managing this entire process. You can check out the video right here. There'll also be links down in the description.